Um, I'm hoping the GDP starts to grow a little bit and we get a little bit more of an income boost. If not, I'm probably gonna have to raise taxes, I think. Rubbish tip protests, fucking environmentalists. Health is starting to get better. I think that might be that health food subsidies. Crime's in green now. I see 47%. Like, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, I wonder how our religious stuff is going. We're at, 28%, bam, like, look at that. We are cutting into them. And that way, once the, kind of the impetus is gone, like, they have two sympathetic ministers. Once the impetus is gone, like, once they aren't, like, as politically important, cutting this other stuff is going to be easier. Let's look at our expenses, see if there's anything we can cut into. State pensions. $12 billion. I always feel like a dick cutting those. I'm gonna cut $500 million from somewhere, and either state housing or the military. Let's see if I can cut $2 billion from the military. Yeah. I mean, like, cutting the military does suck, and it does open the door to, like, other bad modifiers in Orion. Like, there's, like, a surprise event, like some random island getting taken over by the military, and it's kind of like a whatever move, not having like a strong military, but we need the money. So what do we at? What's our start? It's 7. So I'm gonna say 5.5 is what we need. $5.5 billion right there. That is light defensive, which is it could be worse. It could be worse. And $2 billion in my pocket. $2 billion in my pocket. Even though you could totally present a narrative, I see GDP is about to grow. Oh, this is good. See, GDP just grew here, so that means next term our income's going to grow and our deficit's going to cut a little bit. So, especially with the additional money, is there any other program we can sneak out with just a 2? I'm sure there's like something we could raise, but I'm going to save the 2 political capital for next term, just for lack of a better option. Yeah, Canada, so far, things are going good. Once we get a surplus, things like you appoint UN ambassador. But once you get a surplus, things really start to get going. Appoint a UN ambassador. Excuse me. I'm going to go for Joshua Chen, because he's a popular figure on the international stage. He's a problem solver, or not really a Canada First type, which is more what Nicole Patel is. Nikki Haley, Nicole Patel, Joshua Chen. I'm going to go with Joshua Chen. Church of Christ is still not happy. Fuck him. Or, excuse me. I am going to... Ooh, shit. Income is cut. What the fuck? I thought we were going to have a little more dinero. That's not as good as I would have liked. Deficit's $13 million. Expenditures. Where the fuck is... Let me see this GDP. Am I missing something obvious? Like, why is this not high? Is the carbon tax that bad? Like, is it really cutting into the economy that much? Productivity, maybe I could, like, cut into that. The uncompetitive economy is the issue, and that is caused because productivity. So we need to just improve productivity, and once the uncompetitive economy modifier is gone, I think then we'll be clutch. Education, health, and maternity leave, illegal drum consumption, asthma. I'm going to go for see if there's a policy that can help us with productivity, public service, tech colleges, and adult education subsidies. I'm going to do adult education for $500 million, because it's productivity itself and education, which also helps productivity, so that's a good $400 million spent. And also, I'm going to, in that vein, do tech colleges for $1 billion, spend all my political capital. See, that's just like technology and education, state employees. Does hurt socialists, they don't like it as much, and does disimprove equality. But yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, not every policy has to be liked by everybody. It's okay. To have some of those policies that are just like whatever, like they are for some people, but it's for the people who need it. Fishing quotas. Marine conservation groups are pursuing us to sign a fishing quota. We do need fishing quotas because wild fish get overeaten. Like, was it Atlantic cod? So almost got eaten. Canada has a lot of coast, has a lot of fish. Let's do some quotas because 48%. See, that's frustrating because that's once you're at the 50% range, things are gonna be really good. But crime, at the beginning of the game, crime was an issue. We've effectively dealt with crime as part of our government, and that's a pretty That's like an accomplishment, you know? Like, worst comes to worst, we ended the reign of vigilante mobs, organized crime. Now, see, like, the thing is, like, you do want to tackle organized crime, but the effect isn't too bad. It does feed into crime. Gambling is pro-organized crime. See, I'm not going to, like... I really feel like I don't want to deal with that right now. Productivity does need to go up. Health, unemployment, alcohol consumption. Maybe if I did another... Is there any other public service that could be directly assisting with these type of things? Maybe a tax or consumer rights, disability benefit. Let me look at economy, see if there are any programs that are not doing it too hot. How are these agricultural subsidies? $1 billion. They do help unemployment, and they hurt health and contribute to obesity. If I cut by 10, that's like $1 billion right there. Wait, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna do that. Cut agricultural subsidies. Doesn't really. Does it affect unemployment? Yeah, it cuts the unemployment. You know what? I'm not going to touch it right now. I'm sure our political capital could be better spent elsewhere. Our expenditures are going down a little bit, and our income is not. Our GDP, our GDP is starting to grow a little bit, but we're not at before our level when the game started. Like, we still, I think, are slightly below if you look graphically. So, a few more turns might help. What I'm going to do right now is actually... I want to do stem cell research, which is 45, and how many do I get next turn? 19, so that's 38. See, I'm starting to really get unpopular public service, religious conservatives. I am going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just not going to implement anything this turn. I'm just going to save up my political capital, and I'm going to knock out one of those religious laws, like either faith school subsidy. I'm probably going to do that one. Okay. So, car company shuts down plant, which is bad, increased unemployment, increased GDP, but that's just like a chance happening. Alcohol abuse is over. So, widespread alcoholism has been solved, which is pretty dope, because that one was slightly expensive, so it should be less money for us to spend. And we might even be bringing our stuff, like our GDP decreased because of the car company plant, but I think overall deficit should be good. Crime's getting even lower, education's getting higher, unemployment's getting better. Let's see how things are. Okay, so our expenditures are under $100 billion. That's pretty good. We are closing our debt a little bit. We're getting into the zone. See, the GDP is about to crash. Relative GDP, global economy is not doing too hot. See, it's like stuff like this you can't really bank on, like toll roads. I don't like toll roads as a source of income because I feel like they don't, like, the amount of money is nothing, and then the effect is, like, so delirious. Import tariffs, like, see, that's no money. Welfare, space program. Space program is a neat thing to have, and oil drilling subsidies. We're going to spend $36 billion in oil drilling subsidies. Oh, man. All right. Let's also see what else do I want to do. Recreational drug tax, public service. Stem cell research would have been nice, but I'd say I don't really need it. That's more of a popular thing. I'm gonna axe, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna axe the school prayer or faith school subsidy. I'm gonna axe faith school subsidy. Get some more money in my pocket, and also next turn I think I'm gonna have to redo my cabinet. I think that's gonna be my plan. Yeah, so why don't we look and see how that goes? All right. I think that the GDP should be pretty good now, and I'm expecting that our deficit is going to be under $10 billion. Let's see how right I am. Fuck. Okay, so this was probably going to happen sooner or later, but now the religious folks have organized, like, a plot. Like, they're going to try and kill me, like, assassinate me. Which may or may not happen. Our security service isn't very good, and I mean, like, we just have to keep an eye on it. Let's see how bad it is. Okay. See, yeah, and I told you, minister is pretty pissed, probably because of the whole religious thing. Obesity is now under control. Nice. Genetically modified food. You know what? I'm gonna go for GM food. Let's roll the dice on this one. 57% popularity. You know what you call that? You call that a mandate for re-election. All right. Now, let's hopefully see how the deficit is. Fuck. Look at that. Our income dropped a good chunk. Probably didn't the economy just drop? Isn't that what happened? Yeah, the economy dropped and then shot back up, so hopefully our thing will shoot back up too. We're still under $100 billion. Like, our numbers aren't too bad, and I think that obesity plays a good role into that. I'm going to reshuffle my cabinet, and that just fires everybody. Because if you fire them individually, like this Law and Order chick who likes me 5 because she's like farmers and parents, she's going to hate me because I fired a cabinet member. But if I fire everybody, she'll probably like me fine. The most important job's usually tax, so I'm just going to see. See, look at these, 4.5, 4.6, let's see, I think 5 was that one girl. 555, do I see 5? Ooh, yeah, 5. So Law and Order, Transportation, Public Service. I think Public Service of those is the most important, so I'm going to send her to it. Saw 4.8, let's hope it's for tax. Law and Order, Welfare, Economy at 4.6. Economy, tax at 4.6. Is there anything better than 4.6 tax? You know what? I'm going to send her to do the whole tax code. Go, Julia Francis. For the economy, let's send in... Yeah, I'm sending Maya Khan. Go, Miss Khan. Mrs. Khan, I don't know. Welfare, let's see. Do foreign policy, welfare, and transportation, public service, foreign policy. What do I need? I need law and order, transportation, welfare, and foreign policy. So I'm going to go welfare is pretty important. And I'm going to throw, 4.8, welfare, economy, foreign policy. Welfare, economy, foreign policy. I'm going to do a welfare for this dude. Let's give Mr. 4.8. Religious capitalist. See, this is like, he's probably going to end up hating me, but see, I don't know. It's temporary. It'll be fine. Foreign policy, let's send in her and law and order and transportation. Law and order, let's go with do law and order. Yeah, she's good for law and order. Look at that. 4 transportation. We get all above 4s for everyone. Yeah, we can. Let's see if we can get better. Doesn't matter because we are all above 4s and 1.5. And if we do a good job, these numbers will rise. Like, see, like this. She has 4.5, but she has no experience. Over time, she'll get some. Like, she's a little bit more. He has some. And the effectiveness correlates with holding the job for a while and experience. So, double whammy, it's going to be good. And if they have a sympathy for the desired job. So, that's pretty clutch. Like, this new cabinet seems pretty good. I have 10 political capital right now. Legalize gambling, what's that do? That improves organized crime. That's kind of annoying. It does improve our GDP, but it's not huge. I'm not going to touch it right now because our GDP is kind of important. Like, we don't have much GDP to play with. We could go for something like youth club subsidies, which I like, but I don't know if focusing on crime right now is too important because the only real issue of crime is organized crime, and the only way to do that is with a gambling intelligence service swap, and there's no real reason to. The one thing I might want to do is legal aid's kind of popular. Is I might want to cut some, like, see if there are some policies we can get rid of, actually. Like, CCTV cameras that's expensive. I cut this down, that, like, $250 million, see, it saves $250 million, but I'd rather, like, cut the whole program entirely than, like, piecemeal end it, you know? Armed police in every department, and I'm not gonna... Yeah, because in America, when you play for America, like, $1 billion is, like, the equivalent of, like, $1 million, because it's, like, 10 times as much, so the policies aren't as, like, you can, I'm going to raise clean energy subsidies, like, yeah, that's a good, it's only one, I could have done that a while ago, would have had a better impact over time, and see, this one improves the environment without affecting the GDP, so it kind of, like, removes the real incentive for the carbon tax, and... Is there anything else I can throw in that might make things easier or better? State housing was expensive, $7 billion. Ooh, shit. I am totally cutting state housing by $2 billion. What was it, 7.2? Let's see if we can get you to 5.17. All right, now this is a pretty substantial cut, $2 billion. It hurts the poor, hurts equality, hurts the socialists, hurts poverty because poverty was reduced by it, cuts into poor earnings, and makes homelessness a little worse. So I'm going to cut public housing, nice, and let's see how that plays out. I think that might actually fucking homelessness. See, I don't want to have homelessness. It's kind of like embarrassing. But I think, well, yeah, I'm just gonna like bite the bullet right now. See if we can really just get under $10 million with that deficit, and hopefully this will be the turn that happens. All right, let's dive right in and click. Bam. Okay, failed assassination attempt. Fuck. Alright, that is not good. Shit. Crime is good. Fuck. Alright. That's not good. How are the religious doing? They hate me. See, membership's still 20%. I remember it was just under 30 when we started, so that's like we reduced them by a third, but they're still fucking there. They're, see, like, they're already, like, armed. Like, oh, man, I'm gonna need... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise my spy agency. I'm going to use this as an opportunity. It's only like $500 million. Helps us cut an organized crime. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to give us a pretty effective spy agency. And I might also, 25, that's actually pretty good. We could probably do something substantial, 25 political power. See, $100 billion is fucking rising. Debt's rising. What could we do? We could do free school meals. That's pretty cheap and pretty good. Yeah, it's like a good thing. Cuts into poverty. See, like, programs like this, just going deep into poverty, that's like a good legacy move, because when poverty is down, where's poverty? No money. That improves everything, all these other things. Like, low poverty improves crime. Like, it's not crucial, actually. Like, in terms of metric, like, I thought poor earnings might improve the economy a little bit more. Hybrid tax initiative, public service, school vouchers, hard subsidies, organ donation. Yeah, this will really piss the religious off. Fucking mandatory no opt-out organ donation. Fuck the religious. Not in terms of personal belief, just in terms of, like, if you're trying to assassinate me, like, don't, you know, like, I'm not going to be sympathetic to your cause once, like, fisticuffs come out. You know, there's a very real chance I die this turn. Holy shit, let's hope I live. And if I do die, you know, it'll been a pretty solid run. Odds are I'm not going to get assassinated, but, you know, it's always a little dicey when push comes to shove. So let's, religious plot, okay. So, mad cow epidemic, that's going to hurt our GDP and farmers. You know, I think this is one of those things where, like, if we had, like, the program, like the food safety program in place, like the chance for this event wouldn't occur, but you know, it did. So whatever, the global economy is in a recession. That's not helpful for us. 67% of the vote, so we're gonna win re-election, but the state is not in good our financial house is not in order, which is pretty important when it comes down to, you know, deciding these stuff. See, we're like, if we look at our chart in terms of, like, income, like, we are basically at a standstill in terms of, like, our relative ratios. I just think, what are our expenses? Like, fuck, I'm going to have to cut pensions, aren't I? I'm going to have to cut fucking pensions. I'm going to cut $5 billion. I'm going to take a deep cut, a healthy cut, $5 to $7 million. Let's see what $5 billion looks like. Let's see what $8 billion gets you to. Low pension. See, these statistics aren't good, but the money is in my pocket good, so I'm going to take it down to, see if we can get down to $7 billion. That might be pretty clutch. $7 billion, holy shit. Private pensions become, you know, pretty bad. There are fewer retired people, fewer socialists, hurts the poor, increases poverty because poverty was decreased by them. All right, well, you know, hopefully we can increase them somewhat down the line, but that was our deep economic, like, making a move. I'm going to do a full food stamps to counter that, because food stamps are a pretty good policy in terms of, like, health and poor earnings and poverty, and so hopefully this evens out. Definitely won't. All right, let's see if how's our assassins looking. They really don't like me. They only have 350 members, but it's increasing. Like, the religious do not like us. Like, but where is the Church of Christ? Like, the overall membership is decreasing because 19% of the population, it's decreasing over time. Base school subsidies. Didn't we get rid of that? School prayer is still on. All right. Let's end. Let's see how stuff's going. Let's hopefully get a good number of fucking religious plots still going on. Credit rating downgraded. Fuck. That's 72% of the vote. How's the cabinet doing? The cabinet usually just be like loyal and ecstatic instead of see transportation like religious capitalists. We knew it'd be a problem, but I was hoping it'd last a little longer. 17%. Like we're cutting into them. Like under 10%. Like I think it ceased to be a threat. Like 351. The numbers aren't changing too much. Rail strike 33%. I have 33% of the vote. Why is okay? My relative GDP and my income's about to grow, so I'm gonna throw out a new. Oh, you know what I might do? I'm gonna change 33. I can maybe. What's the other religious one? Is that school prayer? Can I get rid of school prayer? No, it's 39. You know, I'm going to do one policy, and then I'm going to save up. I'm only going to do one, like, relatively small change. I'm going to go for biofuel subsidies. Let's see that. Helps out the farmers. Like, we've actually, you know what? I'm going to look, like, how are we doing with the farmers? The farmers have been doing all right under the Reform Party. It looks like the biggest thing is the fishing quotas they don't like and the mad cow academic. So these are only events and decisions, really. Like, they're pretty much happy with their policies, you know? They just don't like the... Okay, yeah. So it shows that they... Generally, like, farmers are good, but it's only 32% of the population. But we've been supporting it. Maybe mildly satisfied. Maybe if we increase agricultural steps. All right, so let's end the turn and let's get some real political capital to play with. Let's get some deep policies. Let's do some shit. Capitalist plot. This is good because it means the religious threat is less urgent now. Let's see how that goes in. Internet tracking. Fuck that. 77%. GDP is aight, health is aight, education's good, poverty and crime are down, and unemployment's okay. And let's hope our deficit is manageable, and it is still about $13 billion, but with 51 political capital. Oof. Literally any policy I want. Literally anything. I can implement a flat tax, double tax. I could do stem cell research, which I might just because it's one of those policies you always just end up wanting but never end up having. Because it pisses off the religious, but that GDP growth, health and technology, and conservatives a little bit, but I'm not really. Actually, how are conservatives doing? Conservatives are... Where's conservative? Liberal, literally everywhere but conservative. Conservatives are... They don't like legalized prostitution, which I could go either way. I could probably none. Because in organized crime, right? Like, how are we doing with organized crime? I feel like our spy agency might have helped. Like, yeah, see, like our spy agencies brought it down to under this threshold. It's like one of those things. If we got rid of gambling and then put it back, there wouldn't be organized crime. But because it already existed, it still exists, which is frustrating, but uncompetitive economy. We just need this to go away. Like that's been productivity's rising. That's good. Where else could we? Asthma. Where is car usage? See, like this is one of those roundabout things. Like if we focused on more. How's this rail strike? Let's end this fucking rail strike. Jesus Christ. Let's do that. Let's figure that out. So I'm gonna can't do any of that. Can't really do anything this turn, but I'm gonna end the rail strike. I'm going to. How am I gonna do this rail strike? We could. You know, we are going to just increase our rail subsidies. I guess. Yeah, give them $1 billion. I think. Or just buy them off. You know, like fuck the principle of it. We just need to get rid of that gosh darn uncompetitive economy because that is killing us. Like we would be in such a good shape if. Whoa. What a turn. Okay. Aerospace contract 1. Bam. Good for the economy. Good for unemployment. Failed assassination attempt. Another religious fucking plot. That's scary. Tech advantage, thanks to all of our tech research, that gives us productivity and GDP, and that productivity is actually going to be huge when it comes to knocking out that freaking uncompetitive economy. Credit rating upgrade, and because of the GDP growth, I'm going to guess our economy, our deficit shrunk. 86% of the vote. Canada Reform Party is almost certainly getting reelected. That's pretty clutch. Let's go take a look at the party and see kind of the situation that we have right now. Oh, look at that. $8 billion deficit. Let's look at this. Let's look at this chart. Freaking green line is getting closer, red line getting closer. Relative GDP shot up. Right? That is what I am talking about. That is a lot of policies coming together. I hope that was, let me see GDP. Look at that. Do you think it was the stem cell? Has stem cell even been implemented long enough? Where's stem cell? Stem cell research. Oh, no, it hasn't. 22 turns. Like, see the timer it takes for stuff to take effect. Like, this is good. It's good to get in early, too, because as the game progresses, it's going to be better and better and better. Now, I said I was going to throw $1 billion this way, but that doesn't really seem like the most pertinent move. So instead, you know what I actually am? I'm going to do $1 billion, and then I'm only going to do the railroad. I'm going to increase the railroad funding by $1 billion to 3.5. You know, I'm just going to make it an even 4, give it a medium. Commuters improve, motorists do. Rail strike, yeah, that's good. I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to do next turn and let the political capital accrue so I can get rid of the school prayer just as, like, the final spite you to these, like, religious assassins who keep trying to kill me.